It's the most wonderful time of the year, but for some, Christmas can also be stressful. Joining me now to discuss how to look after our mental health in the holiday period is Rachael Sharman, Senior Lecturer in Psychology from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Rachael, thanks for your time. Christmas is a great time, but it's also a hectic time. How can we make sure we look after ourselves at this time of year?
Yeah, look, I was actually looking at some statistics on this, and about 90% of people say they're really looking forward to Christmas, which is great. But nearly half of them also say that they expect it to be a tough time and for it to be troubling. So I think there's a real acknowledgement there that, this can be tricky for some people, and they may need to take a step back and get themselves out of the sort of the storm of Christmas and just take a few deep breaths and some time for themselves to recalibrate.
Well, count me in that 50%. I mean, I find the sort of shopping and the increased family contact and all of those things, and nothing against my family, I love them very much, but all of that, it can be quite overwhelming at this time of year. So, I mean, what should we do? Do we need to go for a long walk? Do we need to sort of read a book? How can we escape from the madness of Christmas for those of us who might not be, 100%, singing the Christmas carols and putting the tinsel on the tree?
Look, absolutely. For the people who aren't the raging extroverts, it is about finding time for yourself and to decompress a little bit. So, spending time out in the garden and if you have to, surely you need to mow the lawn for 2 hours. So, if you have to get away from a particularly difficult relative, but it is finding that time to get out and about. In particular, anything involving physical activity or exercise is a great thing. Anything that probably separates you from the eggnog and too much Christmas pudding, also a good thing. That overindulgence and feeling overwhelmed also comes in with our diet and drinking, and just taking a break from that and thinking about where you can sort of schedule those breaks in, really important.
Is Christmas, do you think, becoming a more hectic time of the year than it was, say, 20 or 30 years ago? It seems now, every workplace has a Christmas function, every social group has a Christmas function, everyone wants to get together for a Christmas drink. It's almost like there's no escaping it at times.
Look, absolutely. And in fact, I remember a few years ago, a colleague of mine refused to go to a Christmas function, a work one. And she just said, no, I've just been doing too much of this, and I've eaten too much, and I've drunk too much, and it's all just too much. And pretty much everyone in the workplace went, yeah, fair enough, actually. So, there was no blowback to that. In fact, a lot of people had not only some sympathy, but I think for some respect that she was putting in some boundaries that really, this is just over the top. And absolutely, I know some people who have been to upwards of 4 or 5 Christmas parties just in the last 2 weeks, and now they've got the family stuff coming down the line as well. And that's great if you thrive on that, and that's really exciting for you. But for those people, as you say, who aren't necessarily tap dancing across the stage of life, this all gets a bit much, and you really do need to perhaps give yourself an exit card and a get out of jail free card occasionally.
Is there a flip side to this too, though? Is Christmas something that can sort of boost the mental health of some people?
Look, absolutely. And as I said, about 90% of Australians sort of look towards Christmas with a great sense of positivity. I mean, we have a very interesting Christmas in Australia in that for most of it's probably our best time of year. So if you go to the Northern Hemisphere where it's raining or slushy and cold and a bit miserable, Christmas is sort of the bright spot. In Australia, it's a little bit different. It's already adding on to a lot of fun times with sun and surf, and it just sort of accelerates all of that, as well as family coming together, particularly family members you might not have seen for a while. So the majority of people, the overwhelming majority, do find Christmas a positive thing. But as I said, about half of us also acknowledge that it's pretty tough. And then, of course, we do have that minority of people for whom Christmas is actually really very, very difficult.
Absolutely. Well, Rachael Sharman, I certainly appreciate the tips at this time of year, and hopefully you and your family can enjoy a Merry Christmas.
You too. Thanks very much.